how sugar, yes, sugar, is actually aging you and making you fat. Okay, if there is one thing that you need to cut out of your diet immediately, it's sugar, right? I know we talk a lot on this channel about carbs and, staying away from like white floury foods and all that. But the biggest enemy you must stay away from if you want to start working on your diet, if you feel like you're kind of fat or out of shape, you kind of have a belly, the first thing you need to cut out before anything else, before even the carbs, is your sugar, right? If you're eating cookies, if you're eating candies, M&Ms, Reese's Pieces, peanut butter cups, you know what I'm talking about. I'm not trying to make you hungry, right? Pastries, donuts. You need to cut this out of your diet. Doesn't mean that you can't have anything that isn't, that doesn't have any like sweet flavor to it. I mean, me personally, I've always had a sweet tooth. And there are times where every once in a blue moon, I will have that cookie. I will have that donut. I'll do it, but I'm very quick to get off of it because sugar is very addicting. It's actually, you'll be very surprised to hear this, sugar is actually more addicting than cocaine. I'm not even kidding you. These scientists did a study on sugar with these lab rats, right? They gave the lab rats like both cocaine and sugar. And it turned out that when the rats had their choice of what they wanted more, they passed on the coke and they went for the sugar. Right? So this should tell you how addicting this substance is, guys. And it really does age you. It ruins the health, the natural glow of your skin. It gives you a belly, right? It gives you a little flat tire around your stomach, around your waistline. And it obviously puts you like in a mental fog. Sugar, it makes you more reactive. It turns you into more of a little bitch, right? So if you feel like you're constantly getting triggered, probably having too much sugar, right? However, once you remove sugar from your diet, you'll notice immediately just your face will clear up. You'll have less acne. You'll sleep better, right? Your waistline will start to trim. It will start to flatten. You'll be more mentally alert. And you'll just feel better about yourself, right? And the more you get away from sugar, the less of it you'll want, right? Your cravings will start to go away too, right? You won't crave like a lot of these very like sugary carbohydrate-induced foods. So the first thing that you really, really need to remove out of your diet before anything else, if you're trying to lose weight or if you're trying to drop a few pounds or you're just trying to firm up even, is sugar. I mean, it's just so, you could watch videos on sugar on YouTube all day long and just see how bad this stuff is for you and how addicting it is too, right? And this is coming from a sugar addict. I don't know why this light's coming off, but yeah, this is coming from a sugar addict. And it doesn't mean that you can't have anything that doesn't taste sweet. Like for me, the thing that I used to replace sugar was like if I feel like I need to have something sweet, what I'll usually have is like a protein bar. So I'll have a protein bar and usually that wipes out my craving for something that's like sweet, right? I'll have a protein bar. Sometimes I have like a protein cookie. I don't like them that much. The best ones that I found are like the Quest cookies. My favorite's probably the Quest chocolate chip peanut butter cookie. So if I really, really am craving something, I'll have that. I mean, Quest even they have a lot of these products that can replace sugar, replace your sugar cravings, I should say, sugary foods. They have this other one that's like a peanut butter cup. That's also made by Quest. And the thing about like protein bars and protein shakes and this and that, I mean, even those you want to be careful about, right? You want to be careful about those because then you kind of replace like eating, say, one sugar cookie with like 10 Quest cookies, right? Which you don't want to do. So this is why I try to avoid it. Just avoid sugar or even these protein bars as much as I possibly can until I'm really, really, really craving it. And even then, I don't like to eat the whole thing. I'll eat like half of it because I don't want to get, get into the habit of snacking on these things, because that's another bad thing that can happen. It's like once you're trying to get off of, you know, your sugar addiction, you end up just transferring it onto other foods that you consume more of, like these protein bars or whatnot. However, as I was saying, when it comes to sugar, I mean, if you're a sugar addict like I used to be, if you have a pretty hardcore sweet tooth, you need to go through the Krispy Kreme drive-through a couple of times a week. You want to start easing off of that, right? You probably don't want to go cold turkey because it won't last if you do that. So you just want to start easing off of it, and just like, instead of going to Krispy Kreme twice a week, you go once a month, right? Or, instead of like having one donut a couple of donuts twice a week, just have like one like every month. Just start slowly easing off of it, and just stop thinking about like foods that are sugary like that, or candy or cake, or pastries that are loaded with refined sugar, right? Because it's really bad for you. And I mean, even when it comes to fruits, I don't like to eat a lot of fruits either. I mean, even though the sugar in fruits are natural, I don't like to do that either. Like just the other day, I just had like a little bit of berries, just because I haven't had them in so long, but just so I'd stop thinking about it, right? I mean, I'm not going to have that every single day, because ultimately, that's still sugar. You're still consuming sugar, right? And anytime you consume sugar, you're spiking your insulin, and insulin is what is producing fat, right? So you want to stop spiking your insulin if you want to stop producing more fat. Eventually you want to get to a point where your body is burning your fat, but it can't get to burning your fat if you keep spiking your insulin, right? You have to stop doing that. For you guys who follow like my keto advice, and you are doing like keto, which is essentially just knocking out the sugar or knocking out the carbs. When you go keto, it becomes easier and easier to just pick at healthy foods, and you won't have these cravings for like very sugary or carbohydrate filled foods anymore. You'll actually crave good food, right? I mean, my diet is mostly, I'll have spinach, vegetables, and steak, eggs. I mean, that's pretty much my diet, and I crave this stuff. Sometimes I'll have like cheese and stuff, but I try to stay away from cheese. If I have like a burger or something, I try to get a burger without the cheese on it. And then sometimes if I do get it with cheese, it's usually a mistake, and I'll just eat it anyway, right? Even though I didn't order it with cheese. A lot of times they'll just forget, they'll like put cheese on it anyway. I'll have it, and that's my little treat, right? Because they forgot. But most times I won't. I'll even try to stay away from cheese, because even some cheeses like have certain amount of carbohydrates in them. But you just want to focus on trying to eat as clean a diet as possible. And for guys who are just getting started with, say keto, for example, I mean, no matter what diet you're doing, whether it's paleo, keto, what's the other one? Carnivore. Your first obstacle is going to be not consuming any more sugar. And it's pretty difficult if you've grown up, eating lots of sugar, whether it's cookies or candies or pastries, anything like that. You have to start slowly moving away from it, and just start cutting your sugar intake, because it is aging you, and it is making you fatter. And I've always said, like, before you put anything in your mouth and you eat it, you have to ask yourself, is this food that I'm about to eat, is it going to make my body tighter or looser? That's the question you have to ask yourself. Before I eat these, plate of onion rings, are these plate of onion rings going to make my body tighter or looser? Obviously, it's going to make your body looser, right? Looser and fatter. Clothes aren't going to fit as well. You're not going to be able to wear these like muscle-bound shirts like this. And you're constantly going to feel like you're reactive, and that's what sugar does to you. But the way I eased off of it was, I didn't go cold turkey. I just started cutting my sugar intake, and then I started looking for substitutes. I needed to use substitutes I was like a hardcore addict. So I started looking for sugar-free substitutes, right? I would get like sugar-free sugar-free jelly. I remember I got that at one time. It was like this grape or raspberry sugar-free jelly. And then I started moving on to like sugar-free. I remember they had these like sugar-free blueberry pies at one point at at the local grocery store. So I was on that for a little bit, but I slowly started easing off of it. Then I started eating like protein bars and protein shakes. And then I started easing off that, where it's like I just try to avoid sugar completely, even like the replacement sugar or the fake sugar like sucralose or NutraSweet. Or the sugar alcohols, I should say. Sugar alcohols, which is what they use in a lot of these sugar-free candies. They use sugar alcohols, which is like a replacement substitute that supposedly won't spike your insulin. Yeah, most times it won't, but it will also give you like hardcore diarrhea. Like if your stomach is sensitive and you consume sugar alcohols, you'll be sitting on the toilet, all day long. So it's just not worth it. You just want to eventually start easing off of the sugar and start focusing on eating solid, healthy meals, right? Solid, healthy foods. And when you start to get really skilled at it, then you want to start fasting, right? There are times where, you don't need to eat 3 times a day, contrary to popular belief. I mean, me personally, I eat once per day. It's usually a pretty big meal, and it's usually around dinner time. And it usually keeps me, it allows me to fast for 24 hours because, again, I only eat once a day. So say I eat at 6 o'clock and I have a big meal, I'm not going to eat until the following day around 6 o'clock, right? So it's good for your system to be just releasing all of those toxins and getting everything out of your system and allowing your stomach to feel empty for a little bit before you have your big meal, like mine at 6 o'clock, right? And then I don't go to bed until much later. So I'm not eating like right before bed. That's the worst thing you could do is eat right before bed or eat a few hours before bed. Instead, you want to make sure that your stomach is empty, a good few hours before you go to sleep. Otherwise, you're going to see it in your stomach the following morning. So that's another thing that I will get into in a future coaching video is fasting and why you should do it. I mean, there are times too where I might go 2 days. I think I went 3 days not that long ago without eating. I just wasn't hungry. All right, I just wasn't hungry. So don't eat if you're not hungry. That's another thing. But regardless, the number one culprit in your life you need to remove from your diet ASAP is sugar. If you do try to get off of it, if you try to go cold turkey, by the way, this is why I don't advise it. You just want to slowly start cutting back on sugar, because if you try to go cold turkey just one day, that's it, no more sugar whatsoever, you're gonna have headaches for a little while, right? Because you're coming off of a drug that's more powerful than cocaine, right? So you're gonna have headaches for a while, you're gonna have withdrawals. You don't really need to go through that. You can ease off of it. Instead of having a full donut, maybe just a few bites of it, right? And then the next day, maybe just 1 bite of it, right? Slowly start easing off of it so you don't kill yourself, so you're not miserable in life. And you know what? Once you're in good health and you're in the shape that you want to be in, every once in a while, if you want to have a donut, have that donut. But just tell yourself, like, this is it. I'm not going to go on this, month-long break of having, like Randy's Donuts every single day, or Krispy Kreme, or Pink Box if you're in Vegas. I'm just gonna have this one, that's it, right? Don't be afraid to give yourself a break, but eat responsibly. All right, so drop your comments below, guys. Let me know what you think of tonight's coaching video. As always, this is Matt Cross from AlphaMaleSecrets. Don't forget to smash the like button, smash that subscribe button. Of course, smash the notification bell as well, so you're notified whenever I release a brand new coaching video here on my AlphaMaleSecrets channel. Okay, and if you've gotten value out of tonight's coaching video, if you love my work, if you love all this red pill content I'm teaching you, best way to support me is by jumping into my premium AlphaMaleSecrets program here, where it's only $1 for the entire first month of premium AlphaMaleSecrets coaching lessons from me that you will not find here on my channel. It's real easy to get signed up. Just click that link below in my description box. It will take you over to my website where you can get signed up right now. It just takes 2 seconds. So do that now, and I'll see you in my next coaching video.